Hey everybody, welcome to an awesome video with the Creativity Cave. I'm super excited to share with you how to make a 3D shaker card or ornament. I actually am going to turn this into an ornament, but I'll show you how you can make it into a card. It's very, very easy to do, even though it looks complicated. That's kind of my favorite project. We're going to start by taking a Simply Scored. You can do this with your paper trimmer as well, but I kind of like using my Simply Scored. And I'm going to score a 7.5-inch square piece of Pool Party cardstock at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, oopsies, 1 inch, 1.5, and 2 inches on all 4 sides. So I'll repeat that all the way around. So real simple. Last side. Okay, so I love this already. We're going to cut out the corner of each of these pieces, but on the 2 opposing sides, what I want to do is actually take and do a 1/2 inch in. So again, we're going to remove this chunk. We're going to go 1/2 inch in and up 1 line and just go between those 2 marks. Okay, so I'll carry that down and do the same thing right here. If it's not totally perfect, this is not the end of the world, but it's pretty easy to do. So again, I'm just going 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. Okay, so those little marks, now that they're all going to make sense to you in just a moment, because as mentioned, we're going to get rid of these corner sections like so. And another corner here and here, and here and here. Now those extra little score lines we did are to mark where we're going to do a little bit more cutting. So I'm going to go from the corner in to that score line like that. I'm going to go up the score line and cut, and then I'm going to go back out to the next score line in a point like that. Okay, and what that's creating is a little mitered corner, and that's going to help keep our frame held together. So we're only doing it on opposite sides. We're not doing it on all 4. So once again, from that corner point to the score line, up the score line, and then back out to the corner of the next score line like that. And repeat one final time. Snip, snip, and snip. There we go. Okay. Now, we'll turn this into a little frame, but what I want to do right now is stamp. Keep in mind that 1/2 inch all the way around is going to be covered up with our frame. So I want to do a little stamping in the background. I thought it would be so fun to pull out the Festive Friends stamp set. And I wanted to add the little tree in the background and maybe some snowflakes. So I'm going to use some garden green ink to stamp my tree. And we're going to create a little bit of a winter scene here. So I'm going to stamp this up a little bit and kind of over. And we'll stamp that a few times in the background. Again, remembering that, you know, some of this is going to get blocked off. So there we've got a cute little winter scene. I'm going to take some white craft ink and I'm going to stamp those beautiful little snowflakes in here like so. Kind of just fill this area up like that. All right, that looks pretty cute. We've got a lovely little background here in the works. Now let's put this together. So what I want to do is fold on all of those score lines and fold on all of these score lines and all the way around. Now what I love about this is that it's so easy to put together. We do need some adhesive. So for that, I'm going to take some tear and tape just because it's super easy, but you can use whatever adhesive you're most comfortable with. Like I said, tear and tape is super simple. And we're just going to put a little piece on the end of each of these flaps so that we can hold this whole thing together. You're also going to need a 3.5 inch square of window sheet so that we can turn this into a shaker. And then of course you're going to need something to put inside as a shaker element. All right, now I burnished each of those edges, and then I will take your pick tool to kind of pull off that adhesive. And actually I'm going to do the opposite ends that are squared off first. Or wait, no, I'm going to do the opposite ends that are mitered first. I can never remember. We'll find out soon enough. Okay, so my favorite thing to do is to fold this in half and then fold it over. Okay, and then when you pull it up, it's perfect. So again, we're going to fold that in half and then fold that over, press, and then when you pull it back, it's good. Okay, now let's do this one. This one we're going to kind of roll in, and then it's going to tuck into that mitered corner oh so nicely. Look at that. So we're going to roll it in and get everything to tuck into that mitered corner, and then voila. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. How adorable is that? Okay, so there we go. Now what I want to do is take and add some tape all the way around the edges once more. And this is going to hold our window sheet in place for the shaker portion of this. And then we're going to cover that up with some 1/2 inch strips of designer series paper. Okay. And I'll just pull that backing off. Now, there's lots of different things you can put inside of your card to create a shaker. But what I'm going to use is some of our gold shaker stars, of course. But there's all kinds of different things you can put in here. But look at how fun that is. So we've got a good amount in here. You can put other things. We've got these cute little punches that have stars, trees, and stockings. So we could put some of these in here. Maybe I will punch a few of these in some garden green. I've got a scrap right here. And I always like doing them in a contrasting color as well. So maybe we could do some pool party ones also. So we'll throw those in here like that. Now I want to remind you that this is actually, I did a slightly larger version of this, and it is my November card challenge, Stamping with the Creativity Cave card challenge, which you still have just a little bit of time left to get entered in. You're going to create a slightly larger version of this, but I wanted to give you this slightly smaller version. So this is a 3.5-inch square final size, and then the other one I did was a 4-inch square size. Okay, so that looks good. Ooh, now what did I do with my window sheet? Window sheets get lost real easy because they're clear and see-through. So, oh my gosh. There we go. I've got my window sheet, and it should fit just perfectly on here. Like so. I think I might have put it on a little crooked. There we go. Now, there's a little static cling here, and actually I don't mind it because I think it's kind of fun. Now what we need to do is decorate. So one more time, I can see my window sheet went on a little crooked, or else my frame is a little crooked, and that's not a big deal. We'll just trim this up because again, we're going to cover this with some designer series paper, so it's not a big deal. So I just kind of trimmed that little bit of excess off like so. All right, now I've got some 1/2-inch strips of designer series paper. I'm using the Elegant Pine Snowflakes DSP, and this paper is so awesome. So one more time, I'm going to put some adhesive on here with my tear and tape because it's just so stinking easy. And if you want a nice crisp edge, you can use your snips, but it does tear real nice, hence the name, tear and tape. And then we'll do the last one here in just a moment, and I'll show you why. So we'll pull these ends off like so, and then we're going to add our pieces of DSP. And these I did 4 1/2-inch by 3-inch pieces. So they're just going to fit on here kind of like this. And I used the green pattern of snowflakes, but there's several you could choose from for this. And then our last piece we'll put on here in between. I wanted this so I didn't overdo it from where the DSP is. I didn't want to put a double piece on there. Uh-oh, where did my other piece of DSP go? Oh dear. Oh, it fell. Phew. I was worried there for a minute, like I'd lost it. All right, and then these just kind of fit so nicely on there. Okay, now I've got to decorate this, right? So I stamped and die cut out a little Santa here in black memento ink on some white cardstock, and we're going to color him in with our Stampin' Blends. So I've got Real Red, which of course, well, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do Cherry Cup. I want that real deep, nice red color. Okay, so I've got Cherry Cobbler, and we'll start with our dark and give this a good coloring. Oh yes, the dark was definitely the way to go. I love this. I don't care who you are, Santas are just so stinking cute, and this little set is so sweet. It's got an elf and it's got a snowman in here, so you can kind of do anything. So cute. All right, now here's my light Cherry Cobbler, so we'll give that a good blend. And I love the nice appearance of Stampin' Blends on something like this. I think it's just the cutest. And then we'll do some green on his mittens and maybe his boots too. I'm going to take a little bit of light petal pink to color his face, because let's be honest, his hair is white, as is his beard. And then I'm going to use some Granny Apple Green. Now, if you wanted this to truly be garden green, you could add a little bit of shaded spruce over the top of this color, and then those two colors together kind of end up being shaded spruce. Granny Apple plus, shaded spruce plus Granny Apple Green is going to give you garden green. It's kind of pretty awesome, actually, how that works. Now, don't forget our blends are on the Black Friday sale. So if you catch this video before December 1st, you can get 40% off blends, which, yay! I love that. Okay, and then last but not least, to color in his brim of his Santa's cap. We put up our Christmas tree today, and I'm feeling festive. We've got a huge blizzard coming, which makes it even more Christmassy where I live, and I'm looking forward to that, except that it made my son go home back to school sooner than he was planning because of that blizzard, and I'm just grateful he's not driving in that, because it's a 9-hour drive. Okay, so now I've got some shimmer on here, which just is always a good idea. Oh, so cute. All right, let's add this to our shaker card, which just looks adorable. Now, if you wanted to turn this into a card, what you would do is create or cut a 3.5 by 7 and 3.5 by 7 inch piece of cardstock, fold it in half and attach it to the back. Okay, for example, here's another example, and there is the card flap. Okay, so it's just attached to the back. If you would like to make this into an ornament, what you're going to need is a 3.5-inch square piece of designer series paper. So I will take this piece and cut a 3.5-inch square piece real quick. Grab and then we're going to adhere that to the back. We're also going to add some ribbon to cover this up so that we can use it as an ornament, because I think this will just be so cute as an ornament on your tree. So you can choose whatever ribbon you would like for that. I think I'm going to use some of the shiny red ribbon. And so I'm just going to create a loop like this. And I want it big enough so that it will, fit on your tree branch on a Christmas tree. Okay, so to do that, first of all, make sure you've got it right side up. And then I'm going to put some tear and tape right across here. And maybe a couple strips just to hold it into place nicely. We'll pull that backing off. Thank you, Take Your Pick tool, for making this so much easier. And I'm just gonna kind of put that on there like so. So this is about an 8 to 9-inch piece of ribbon. Okay, then on my designer series paper, because we want to cover all that up, I'm going to use some Seal Plus just because it's extra sticky. And put that on like so. This would be just a super sweet gift to give to somebody. You could, of course, date, the year that you made this. But then I'm also going to add a little sentiment. So let me, first of all, pop this up onto our shaker. I like to use several, as you can see, just to make sure it adheres nicely. Like so. Okay. Oh my gosh, so cute. And then in this set, there's this cute little banner. So I'm going to add this, and we've got a nice little sentiment that says Santa Claus is coming to town. I'm going to stamp that in real red. And put that right in the center. And then we'll add that to the top. And I think I'll pop that up as well. Now this looks awesome, but we've got these two big holes right here, and I think those look a little weird. So let's cover those up with some embellishments. Let's put that right in the center there. And actually, I wonder if maybe I should have slipped embellishments or a dimensional right under here, just to hold that end up nice. There we go. It's not the end of the world if it's not sticking to the back, as it's just holding everything up nice and evenly. Okay. Now I kind of feel like these dots are perfect. These are the delightful decorative dots. And another option, by the way, is you could place, you could put some of these in here, but take the backings off of the actual embellishments. So I'm just going to put that over this like so. Oh, a little stinker. It moved on me. Like that. And how cute is this? So I hope you loved making this into a shaker card. Here's a few other examples that I've done in the larger size. So you're going to do it exactly the same way, only you're going to start with an 8-inch square piece. Okay, so I did this one with the Delightful Pines bundle. This one was made for me by my friend Nancy with the Fright Night. This is another one. And even a little Thanksgiving one. So isn't that just so much fun? I hope you loved seeing these, and don't forget to make one of these for my Stamping with the Creativity Cave card challenge. I'll put a link to all of that information in the description of this video. Thanks for stamping with me today, friends. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.